pay attention to me tonight. I'm so fucking sick of this shit.
Oh my god.
Touch a boob, buy a drink. I mean, it's like very fucking simple.
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 351. It is the second day of the week, aka the special beam cannon workout. I am feeling very good right now, very excited for this workout. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. Clubbing in 2025. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this was because I've seen many a video about the clubbing scene and how it's dead recently, and I was very curious about that, but I hadn't gone out. It's been a while since I've went out. I think I went out once in 2021 maybe, but I remember vividly the last time that I went out was 2020, right before the major thing in 2020 happened, which we'll get to in a different episode. But I usually use that as my baseline because obviously that was pre the thing that happened in 2020. So that was 5 years ago now. So things I would assume have gotten a little different since that period, but apparently the club scene has been dying. So I was like, okay, let's see how that goes. But I will discuss what happened recently where I went out, and we'll talk about that in the voiceover. But I'll say this: very interesting, very dynamic, very different world than I remember it being from when I went. But that's kind of part of the story that we'll get into in the voiceover. But with that being said, I will see you at Mother Base. Alright, so started this day off with squats, which are pretty good. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Going out in 2025. So, the way this kind of started about was one random Saturday. Well, it was the Saturday of a 3-day weekend. We decided, me and my wife were like, hey, let's go out. Let's check it out. It's been a while. She had gone out not that long ago. Well, actually a few years ago now, but she went with a friend and she said that it was basically a dead zone out there, especially on a Saturday night. It was dead zone. So I was like, okay. Now, of course, the 3-day weekend might have changed things for us, but we went down to our old stomping grounds over in DC, and we saw that it was pretty packed, but not as packed as it once was. And there were a lot of things that I noticed out there as well, which we'll get to in a moment. But I'll say this: business was decently booming. It wasn't like it was anything too crazy. The music was still kind of shit, but that's just the way it is nowadays anyway. Old 90s tracks that seem even more aged now than anything, and new tracks that God knows where they get them from. But it was an interesting experience in that, but it's very much the same style of crowd that's there, except for one big exception, and this is something that we noticed, and that is a lot more women there, a lot more. Like the ratio from men to women was like 3 women for every 1 man, maybe even more, possibly 5 to 1. That's how serious it was. I mean, this is something I noticed while out there. There was a lot of groups of women, and they would always be at least 3 to 5 of them, and then no groups of men. I tried to count how many groups of men I would see that night. I saw 1 group of dudes that entire night, and it was like 6 dudes, and that was it. It's very interesting. They would be big groups together, but there wouldn't be really much interaction between the 2 groups, if that makes any sense. It was very interesting to see the 2 dynamics at play, because you hear about it all the time. 1, that the club scene is dying, or 2, that it's just not really as fun as it used to be because people used to interact all the time and kind of just like meld together. But now you can kind of really see the separation that is truly happening between the 2 parties. Not even just the 2 parties, but even strangers too. You'd see dudes kind of that from one party look at the other dude from another party and not really like talk to them, but, you know, more so be cautious of them, you know. It's very interesting. It's like there's no melding before. There's no like getting to know anybody or anything like that, which is very interesting to me personally. I think that seeing it now, such a drastic change, because I remember back in the day going out, even before 2020, before then, seeing at least it would be like the other way around, where it'd be basically a sausage fest out there, where it'd be like every 4 dudes to 1 woman out there. And nowadays it's the complete opposite. It's kind of weird. It's weird that the intersections have changed almost as well. It's very strange seeing it in person. But the other thing that's been strange to see in person has been the rise in cover charges. I think almost every single place that I went to, except for one, had a cover charge, which was interesting. This wasn't like it was before. Before, they didn't care about that. But even the place that didn't have a cover charge that we stayed at had other things for sale. Like they had food inside. They usually turn that off around 8 because obviously who's going to order food at a bar, like happening bar, right?
They're trying to do anything to get the market in and or people's money. It's personally, I was glad to have witnessed it, at least with my own two eyes, to notice the demographics shift. I'm very curious as to know what happened to all the dudes, because at this point, if you're a single guy, obviously you don't want to go for the club rat woman, but also at the same time, it's like shooting fish in a barrel out there. It is very interesting to see, because more likely than not, they are looking for someone. So it's very interesting to see that dynamic, especially out there, because it wasn't like this before. So it truly makes me wonder where all the guys went. But then again, I as a guy, I understand it. There's just been too many years of bullshit and all these other things going on. It's just not worth going out. And honestly, with the prices of some of those things out there, yeah, no, it's not worth it at all. Or even a cover charge, definitely not worth it. It's generally a good time to have gone just to see it one last time, but it's one of those things that now I'm past it. It's done. It's the chapter of my life is over, which I'm glad it's over at this point. But just seeing it again is very interesting. I'm not necessarily jealous of any man who can go out there and shoot fish in a barrel, because good luck for them. But honest to God, it seems like it could be that easy. For me personally, that's not my scene anymore. It's just not my thing. Neither is drinking. Very proud of the fact that I didn't drink that night, because I did not want to set myself back. I literally was thinking about this entire series, and as I was writing down stuff from my hop to hop bar, I thought about different things about to talk on here. Like, for example, the last bar that I ended up going to was a more older crowd bar, which was also just very interesting as well, because it's the same dynamic where there were slightly more men, but it was like a 2-to-1 ratio of women to men, which is also still very fascinating, that even in older bars, you're still getting this weird dynamic that has just kind of shifted and lopsided, and you're starting to see the end stages of what's been happening over the years and years and years of just kind of social dynamics only being influenced by one side. But that's kind of a different story for a different day.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything. Well, we got one actually. Calf raises, because time, and also whatever. I'll do them on Thursday. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. Clubbing in 2025. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because it happened, and also because it's such a different landscape than it once was. It's a very interesting thing. One, seeing almost every single place charge in the front to get in was a very interesting change, to say the least. One, and two, more importantly, the ratios are out of whack. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. It makes me wonder what happened to all the dudes, because I remember back in the day when I would go out, sausage fests most of the time, but I've already probably discussed that. But it's very interesting. I'm kind of glad I did it, in a sense that I'm okay with never going out again after that, because it's just kind of like, meh, this isn't for me. It never was for me, but even the older bar, it just felt like, meh, this isn't what I would want to be doing on a Saturday night. I'd rather be doing something else. So it was kind of nice in a weird nostalgic like kick, but after that, it was fine. It was whatever. I was happy that I didn't actually drink while out there. One, because I saved money, and two, because then I didn't get set back really in the working out department, because really that does do hell on the system in order to get it out of your system. So it is something that has been very nice, trying to keep it clean as best as can be, you know. Got to lock in, but that'll be for a different story for a different day. But for now, I'm very happy it happened, but now it's a time to close that door and move on. But anyways, with that being said, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one, and or if you have a story about anything like going out recently, that would be interesting, because in your experience in the clubbing scene, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, or a story or two. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!